I started a boosted board battery repair business a few weeks ago, and here are some things I've learned about accidentally starting a business. The first thing I learned is that it's not always going to be your dream. I've mentioned Honeybatcher in the past, and so I'll mention it again. I was really romantic with the process. I wanted this awesome piece of software specifically for photographers so that we can go from thousands of photos to a select few in just an instant. It's gonna be great, it's gonna be epic. Now I am over 2 years into my startup working on Honeybatcher, and we haven't made any money yet. It's not that everything needs to make money in the first year or the second year whenever you're working on it. It's just that sometimes you need to just not be so romantic about it, because there might be critical things that you're missing along the way, and in the quest to become this big brand or whatever, that you might lose sight of that and not go after those opportunities when they present themselves. The second thing I've learned is to be super narrow. Now, I think most of us grasp that, yeah, you can't be all things to all people, so you should have a target customer. But what most people don't necessarily define really well is who their target customer is. Like, they probably say it's something like millennials or bike riders or something super duper general that they don't really understand is super general until they start getting to weeds of it and they realize, oh crap, I really should define what I mean by millennials or bike riders or etc. And so I think I was really fortunate to be super duper narrow with not targeting all electric skateboard riders, and specifically targeting boosted board riders that have this specific battery that has this specific problem where it won't turn on. And so how do I go and provide value to these people by helping them fix their batteries to make sure they're safe on the road, and more importantly, they can save money while at it. I would have completely missed that if I went after all personal electric transportation or I went for all electric skateboards. That's just something I would have completely missed because, well, people have no idea if I can actually fix their battery properly. There's this inverse sizing effect that happens with brands. Like, if you find a very, very niche community and you solve a problem within that community, all of a sudden, you're pretty big relative to that community. On the other hand, if you go after a larger community and you say that you can do all this stuff that this larger brand can do, well, people tend to be quite skeptical because chances are that other brand that you're talking about has been there for a while, and guess what? They started small too. Basically, if you find a more general community, you might be too small for people in that community to trust you as a brand. Not to say that my business isn't flawless either. Like, Boosted is a dead company, D-E-A-D. There is no more boosted boards. Boosted board riders, we're probably declining because we only have a finite number of replacement parts out there that can be sold to us because there is no more boosted boards or boosted ink. I think that really affords me more freedom rather than less, because that really means I can expand into anything I want. I can go and try to fix other kinds of electric skateboards, electric scooters. There's a variety of directions that I can take this, and it just starts out with just me fixing boosted board batteries, and I think that's really sweet. That's probably the best thing about being super narrow. You can just grow into whatever, so keep that in mind. Number 3, you don't need anything fancy. I don't have a website. I don't have a logo. I barely even have a business name. I just post pictures to Reddit of batteries that I fix, and people just come to me to get their batteries fixed. Things that people might say that you need, like a good logo, advertising, and a proper website, like that's where it comes into question. Do you really need that? Or can you survive off of word of mouth for a while? I'm a photographer, and I was convinced for a while that I needed the good camera, I needed to have an excellent website, and all those things are valid. All those things are valid to a point, but when you're first starting out, you gotta really ask yourself, do you really need that? And how far can you take this without spending any money? And so far, I haven't spent any money in advertising, and I've absolutely returned on my investment in terms of the equipment that I use to repair these batteries, in terms of the time I spent on fixing those batteries. I've absolutely returned that on that investment. And that's something that I probably wouldn't have had I gone out of my way to make a fancy website or things like that. It just would have slowed me down, and I would have spent a lot less time on fixing batteries and helping boosted riders and more time just trying to look fancy. Number 4, synergy is important. Businesses can't grow alone, so why be an island? When I fixed my first few batteries, I noticed that some of my customers were asking about discount codes for certain accessories. I was able to hit up one of my buddies in that space and be like, hey, some of my customers are interested in this product of yours. Can you offer a discount code specifically to my customers? He said, yes, I got a discount code. And that synergistic relationship right there, that's something that I didn't realize was so important until I started to fix batteries. It's a business win and it's a customer win because we both make money and the customer is still happy. Number 5, accounting is important. I know that's a painfully obvious statement. I did not like entrepreneurial accounting back in the summer. I do remember bits and pieces of it, but those memories are very suppressed, and I probably should start remembering all that now because I have inventory, I have R&D cost, and there's just things that I just cannot keep inside my head any longer because I will have an unrealistic idea of how much I'm allowed to spend on things like repair equipment and things like that, because I honestly probably should start investing in my own equipment so that I don't have to rely on the lab to do all my fixes all the time, because there might be a week where, hey, someone is using this piece of equipment and it's not where I expect it to be. That loses time, that loses revenue for me. So that's where I have to start doing the financials for real. Number 6, you will make mistakes. So my first week of business was rough. I had 2 batteries shipped to me. One of them was dead on arrival, and the other one I was able to fix, and then it shortly died because of something that I did. That did not feel good. That did not feel good because I basically had to buy out both of those batteries, and so I lost money that weekend big time. That did not feel good at all. And I'm really glad I went through that because had that not happened, it would have happened anyway. It would have happened anyway where I wouldn't understand how would I pick the right batteries to fix, and like what are the ways that I can avoid complications during the surgery operation so that I don't accidentally kill my patients, basically. I'm really glad to say that the next week and the week after that went a whole lot better. I fixed a total of 6 batteries to this date. I'll be fixing at least 3 more this weekend, so that feels pretty great. Number 7, logistics. Oh my God, it's kind of a nightmare. So not only do people have to reach out to me on Reddit, they have to send a video of the battery so I can confirm it has the right error. And after that, I ask them to ship it to me. And the logistical problem comes of like, whose battery is whose? Which one do I fix first? After I fix it, who do I ship it to? How do I get billed? Like, oh my gosh, it's really bad. Oh, and this just came to right now. I didn't get refunded for shipping yet after I shipped out those batteries last week. So I am $68-ish in the hole at the moment that other people owe me that they can't pay me back yet because I haven't told them how much shipping costs, and it's it's great. It's a logistical nightmare, and like not having some sort of structure of how you're gonna do all this can quickly put you in a hole, is what I'm trying to say. Number 8, constant innovation is a must. Now, anybody can learn how to do this. It's on GitHub, you can follow the tutorial, but the thing is that I don't think most people should because of the risks involved on operating on a battery. And I've gone out of my way to really mitigate a lot of those risks. That said, if you are more technically savvy than me and you can do this faster and for cheaper, you're gonna beat me. That's just how business works. Innovation isn't always just about coming up with new technology, although it does help, but also with business models, like what business model is the best, because there might be something that no one else has tried yet, as from a business model perspective at least. This is why I'm building a brand, because I am future-proofing my business so that when the battery supply runs low because, well, I fixed all the batteries that there are, or competitors catch up with me, then I can be prepared to move on to the next thing, because it's not always gonna be about fixing batteries forever. Number 9, feed yourself last. I was really tempted to use the money that I made from one weekend on paying rent, and decided not to. Instead, I decided to reinvest that money into my business. And it was such a hard thing to do because I just wanted to have 1 month where I'm like, yes, I paid for all this rent myself and I didn't have to go into savings and just lose money every single month. And it was hard, but I knew I had to do it because my people need me. My people need me to reinvest in my business so that we can find better solutions for this problem that we all have. That's basically why I invested $400 into R&D last month, because that's just what I had to do. And number 10, stay happy. This work isn't for everyone, not just fixing batteries, but I guess especially fixing batteries. It might look simple at first by looking at GitHub, but there are, like, if I did not have help on the live stream the first time I did it, I probably would have just broken the entire thing. And I guess I'm making this point because you should find something that actually makes you happy. I love helping other boosted riders because I am one. And I understand what it feels like to have your freedom taken away from you because of some technical problem. And I should find a way to make that better. All right, that's all from me. I'd love to hear from you guys. Have you ever started a business before? Was it an accident? Was it not an accident? Did any of these tips kind of help you at all with discerning whether or not the business idea you're thinking about is worth it or not? I encourage you to go chase after it. Anyway, my name is David the Futurist, and I'll see you guys in the future.